Hi guys, and welcome to a new video on Sonos Live. Well, we're at the end of the first major tournament of the New Japan calendar. That is right, yesterday we had the final of the New Japan 2023 New Japan Cup. And what a journey it has been. Normally I do like a New Japan Cup update, but if you missed out on my last video, I basically did a what the fuck is going on with Bullet Club, so make sure you watch that. We had an amazing few weeks of tournaments. I was speaking to people, it seems a lot more condensed than normal. It feels like a lot more shows were packed into a very small amount of time. However, it was a phenomenal tournament with some amazing matches, huge surprises, and obviously I'm going to talk about it all. Now, like I said, we had some phenomenal matches throughout the entire tournament. We had some main ones, which are basically courtesy of the House of Torture. So I'm just going to skip over them. But I'm going to go through some of the big matches that you should definitely be looking out for. Now, if you've watched the entire tournament, which I guess you will have or you wouldn't have, this match really makes sense in the long run. So we had, I think one of the first matches was Sonata versus Tai Chi. Two of my favourites. Now, these are two guys who really have had an up and down, very mirrored career. They both started in a different route to New Japan, have had their struggles, but are slowly gaining momentum. Now, for a lot of this match, it seemed like Sonata was defeated. And I guess the Tai Chi of old, so like 2018, 2019 Tai Chi, would have capitalised on that. However, like similarly to Sonata and Zack, there is sort of an unwritten, unspoken respect between the two. And so Tai Chi was like, Sonata, I want your best. And halfway through that match, Sonata snapped. We saw this big match Sonata that everybody loves and that everyone is rooting for. So unfortunately for me, Sonata won that match. And you'll know because obviously one of my predictions was Tai Chi to win the entire thing. However, it was an amazing match, and considering what happens later on, which I'll tell you about, it was perfect storytelling. Sonata advanced to the next round. His match against Kenta, another phenomenal match. I think it was the longest match of the tournament. It was 29 minutes. Remember, there's no time limit here. Kenta had the odd cheating, you know, it's Kenta. But all in all, it was a really phenomenal match between two amazing athletes. Like, both guys are I guess they're very much versed on submissions and striking, especially Kenta with his strikes. However, due to their frame, they are both extremely athletic. So I think this was the perfect match between them. The pace was right. So sometimes we say when matches go too long that they don't need it. This was a really nice setup. Like, it went really well. Everything worked together. And you know what? Surprisingly, Kenta and Sonata make a really good, combination. And you know what? I love him. I think it's also the contrast of personality. So Kenta is very much big and bright and bold with his personality, whereas Sonata's more tranquilo. So oddly enough, that first part of the bracket, phenomenal, 10 out of 10. Some other good matches. Tetsuya Naito versus El Phantasmo. I don't think many people expected ELP to win due to I think he's just become a heavyweight and Naito is Naito. But again, another great match. Like Kenta, even though ELP is part of Bullet Club, while he has the odd shenanigans, he puts up a pretty clean fight. He combines his personality and charisma with his in-ring offense. You'll have 1 minute where Naito has you in a submission, then have him flying off the top rope. Similar with ELP, 1 minute he can be striking, then he can super kick you. Then he can walk on the ropes. It's phenomenal, chef's kiss. And I know Kevin Kelly doesn't like that word, but we're going to use it. Bottom half of the left side of the bracket was a little bit confusing. So I'll skip over anything to do with Evil. Evil beat Narita, Evil beat Jeff Cobb. It shouldn't have happened. But Mark Davis and Will Ospreay put on a phenomenal match. Two members of the Empire. I think this is the first singles match between two members of that faction because they're pretty new. And it was great. There's a huge size difference, I guess, experience difference if you count it in New Japan terms. But they put on an amazing match. It was, you know, when back then I said I wondered what the Empire's interfaction matches would be like. Would they be stupid, like Bullet Club, where someone's going to ask to go down, or would it be like the Chaos LIJ route? It definitely was. They were extremely hard hitting. They put everything in the kitchen sink in it. Like, even in the warm-up matches, even the tensions were there. Of course, they love each other. They're an amazing faction. But they were fighting for this, and it was great. The reason I said it's quite odd, because obviously Ospreay won that match. He was another one of my picks. Got injured. So then Mark Davis took over. Now, the reason why, I mean, I loved that in the sense that Mark Davis, phenomenal wrestler, one of my favourites in the world. And his match against Evil, obviously getting retribution for Jeff Cobb was great, because we were going to have all the shenanigans and stuff going on. But thank God, even with an injured shoulder, Ospreay had the Empire members out and protecting Mark Davis to get into the the semi-finals. And I think for a lot of people in Japan, this tour will be the first one where they've ever seen Aussie Open wrestle singles, and it was great. Now, there's one match I missed out, and I'm going to it now. So it was Tetsuya Naito versus Sonata, which was the semi-final match on the top half of the left bracket. Why did I do that? Why did I leave it to the end? Because, you know what? I could go on about how good the match was, how amazing LIJ works as opponent and teammates. How it was the ending that blew my mind. So after a great match, which literally had everything you ever want in a match between two of the top stars, there was personality. Bear in mind, they know each other so well. There was reversals, there was athleticism, submissions, strikes, everything in the kitchen sink. Which made it even more shocking when Sonata won. Like, I think he might have beaten Naito once before, but mainly, like, when it comes to Naito and Sonata, they are teaming together in, I think, World Tag League they did. They're teaming together as part of LIJ multi-man matches. But the fact that Sonata won was a huge thing. But what shocked me even more was after the match, we were getting ready for Sonata to go, like, this is my favourite town, I think it was at Korakuen, and see you next time. When Tai Chi and the rest of Just 4 Guys came out, so Doki looking very ripped. Tai Chi, Taka Michinoku and Kanemaru. And Tai Chi hugged Sonata. And he's now the newest member of Just 4 Guys, which is, I guess, Just 5 Guys now. Funny thing is, while many of the times that people will leave faction, they make a big song and dance about it, this was very Sonata-esque. He basically said, like, I can't move forward anymore with LIJ. I found a new family. Like, we saw in the first round match that respect between Tai Chi and Sonata. Obviously, Tai Chi's ex-husband, Zack Sabre Jr., also loved Sonata. So that was a very nice surprise, because I think we've all said that Sonata and LIJ has been a bit stale. Naito didn't really say anything about it. Shingo was more angry, I think, because Tai Chi did it. Hiromu was obviously a bit upset, but you know what? I like this. Let's make it normal for wrestlers to just naturally progress. And then obviously that natural progression meant that when he had his semi-final match against Mark Davis, like I said, I'm working side by side, Sonata shocked with a brand new look. He'd shaved off the beard. He got short black hair. Like, honestly, if Sonata wasn't one of the most attractive men in New Japan before, he is now. And again, I guess I can't say, like, that was an amazing match as well between Sonata and Mark Davis. Two guys who have never, I don't think they've ever fought together in a singles match. Mark Davis's first New Japan match, I think Royal Quest 1 in 2019, was against Sonata and Evil. So it was a nice circle back. Sonata obviously went to the final, and we'll talk about that later. I guess because of all of like everything that happened, I guess the left bracket was kind of stronger in that sense. However, there was some still amazing matches in the right hand the right hand side of the bracket. We had, and I'm just going to list these because I realised that I've spoke a lot about the left side and specifically a lot about Sonata. So we had Kyle Fletcher beating Yoshihashi in the first round, so obviously cementing a Iwgp heavyweight title shot for Aussie Open, which was great. Considering that once upon a time Kyle was a junior and he's put on size, but really his first showing as a singles wrestler in New Japan, like Dougzilla, it was phenomenal. He had a great match. He didn't manage to beat Goto, but I've seen a lot of people say that his match against Yoshihashi was one of the best, and I have to agree. Two guys that shouldn't work together stylistically, who are different in every way, but it really did. Aaron Hanare pulled the upset, I think the bracket buster of the tournament, when he defeated Shingo Takagi in his first round match. For me, as a huge Aaron Henare fan who's followed him since he came back from Excursion, I was so excited about seeing this. He is now building up to a match, I assume at Sakura Genesis, with Shingo Takagi for the King of Pro Wrestling title. Fingers crossed that this is a Aaron Henare win. And it's really shown that how far Henare has come. Yes, he's always been an amazing wrestler, but with the Empire at his side, he has a new personality. He's able to pick up those big wins, something that loads of us have wanted for years. And you know what? A lot of people probably had Shingo Takagi to advance very far in this tournament. Bracket buster. Again, some really good matches. Dave Finlay versus Okan was good. Tama Tonga versus Hiroki Goto, phenomenal. But what I'm going to pick up on is Shota Umino versus Zack Sabre Jr. Another shocker, another bracket buster. Now, Shota had seemingly and simply managed to beat Yujiro Takahashi in the first round and went on to Zack Sabre Jr., aka the New Japan World Television Champion. Now, I guess I expected this to be an easy shot for Zack. I had Shota winning the match against Yuji, but not Zack. And this was very different, I guess. We've never seen these two in a singles match together. Theoretically, their styles shouldn't be too different. Zack is the king of British wrestling, submission specialist. And although Shota more has Naito and Tanahashi vibes, he did his excursion here. So he would have picked up similar techniques, similar techers as Zack. Now, I think Zack maybe went into this underestimating Shota. He poked some fun at him, was having some fun with Red Shoes Uno, like, I'm going to choke him out, blah, 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 you can't do anything. I'm also going to point out Shota is probably grounded at the moment because he pushed Red Shoes Uno on several occasions, and no matter where you are, you do not push your dad, especially in a wrestling ring. But yeah, I think Zack maybe underestimated him. The first half of the match, Zack seemed to be firmly in control. However, the tides turned when Shota decided to use Zack's own techers against him, which got him the win and a shot, I assume, at this New Japan World Television title. So that's something else to look forward to. So even going into the final, we had so many storylines branching off, so many people with title shots. So away from the New Japan Cup itself, Minoru Suzuki beat Kenta in a special tag, like a multi-man tag match. So he wants a shot at the New Japan Strong title. It seems like for every belt, there is a contender. And again, Tama Tonga beat Hiroki Goto, so there's one there for the tag titles. Dave Finlay beat Tama Tonga, never title. It works like that. And then we got to the final night. We had Sonata, so the new handsomest in the world, just 5 guys, versus the Bullet Club's new leader, David Finlay. Now, I don't need to tell you all that shit that went on. Like I said at the start, if you want to know what's going on with Bullet Club, watch that video. What I will say, and I guess I'll repeat this at the end of this match, despite David Finlay being in the Bullet Club and with Gedo at his side, he's still a phenomenally pure wrestler. There was no, I mean, I think maybe Gedo might have done one distraction in the whole tournament. There was no use of the shillelagh, no chairs, no tables. It's almost like what I wish with people like Sho. Finlay has become Bullet Clubber but still kept that core person that he is. He doesn't like the shenanigans from ELP. He doesn't like the cheating. He wants to, I guess, bring Bullet Club back to normal. Now, that was the main event of the show, but I guess we'll do the whole show because there was a lot of stuff going on. We had some amazing tag matches, setting up for title bouts coming forward, especially Sakura Genesis. One of the big things, I'm trying to think. No. There was, yeah, a lot of good stuff going. There was a teaser for someone coming back to New Japan, or maybe someone debuting in New Japan, we don't know. We then had a phenomenal IWGP Junior Heavyweight tag match, so Lio Rush versus Hiromu Takahashi. Yo was there at the corner. An amazing match. So we've always said that Hiromu is nuts. He is fast, he is furious, he's unpredictable. You know what? If you're going to put him on a level to Lio Rush is way above that. Like, this match had so many layers, so many paces. 1 minute they were flying out the ring. The next thing, Hiromu was trying to dictate it to a slower pace to suit him. So quite slow, submissions, like strength based. Because if you think about it, Lio is much smaller than Hiromu and much quicker. Slow the pace down and it will suit Hiromu more. I feel like as the match went on, they got more and more adrenaline. Like, they were throwing everything in the kitchen sink into it. The time bomb didn't win. Leo was bringing out tag team offense, even using Yo's direct driver to try and get the win. What I loved was that, I said this with some of the matches in the New Japan Cup. While it went a while, I don't think as long as like the main event and stuff, everything seemed to work together. There was no moment where you were like, this could have been missed out. There was action inside the ring, action outside the ring. It was fast, high risk, high pace, and everything we want from a New Japan Junior match. The diversity is there. And I think that sometimes that's what people underestimate about the junior division. They think it's flippy dippy guys like jumping out of the ring. I know, even in 2023, although that can happen, and it did, there's a lot more technical skills in these juniors than people expect. At the end, Hiromu got the win with Time Bomb 2, and everyone was expecting a challenger to come out. Zack Sabre Jr. came out. Okay, so before you say anything, yes, Zack is not a junior, and he made that clear. However, he said, here is your new opponent, so your next challenger, the newest member of the Mighty Don't Kneel, Robbie Eagles. Now, we all know Robbie Eagles was a member of Chaos, wasn't really doing much. His role in the Mighty Don't Kneel is perfect. Obviously, fellow Aussies, Shane Haste and Mikey Nichols. It just seems to work, and the Mighty Don't Kneel finally have a junior in their grasp. So that was a really interesting thing. So we've got someone getting teased to come back, a new member of the Mighty Don't Kneel, and Hiromu's new challenger. What was funny is Hiromu was like, wait, does that mean that all you have to do to get a title shot now is send a VT? Because that's what Leo did. That was quite funny. And then we had the main event. Now, I thought it was amazing. As some people replied saying, yeah, it wasn't as good as you made out, Sono. Something was missing. But the final match between Sonata and David Finlay was the perfect way to end a tournament of surprises. On the outside, they're very different. Their styles, their personalities, their careers. But I guess they're in the same boat. They have both recently moved to another faction. So Sonata moved from LIJ to Just 5 Guys. David Finlay moved from Hontai to Bullet Club. They've had partners betray them. Evo betrayed Sonata. Juice betrayed Finlay. And they've also both been mid-carders who have succeeded in tag team action but never made it to the top as single stars. So it meant that this match was two very new guys to this sort of scene. And it was perfect. Finlay had this aggression that we've seen throughout the tournament, this desire to prove that he is the man. He is the man who should replace Jay White in the Bullet Club, and I guess the man who should be the top gaijin in New Japan. On the other hand, although Sonata is now in a new faction, he was still very much tranquilo, I guess you could say. He was taking everything in his stride, although it might have looked like he was letting Finlay beat him up. He was taking everything and giving it back in a calm way. Because sometimes, and I guess maybe it could be the reason that in the end Finlay lost, passion doesn't always work. It can make you make mistakes. And while Finlay was wrestling with his heart, Sonata was wrestling with his mind. And we got to see, like the previous match with the juniors, light and shade. They were outside the ring, they were inside, they were flying, they were kicking, they were striking, there were spears. Because if you think about it, Finlay and Sonata are at the core very amazing traditional wrestlers. Finlay learned in the dojo. He is basically what wrestling is with his family tradition. Similarly, Sonata has a very traditional Japanese style based off his mentor Keiji Muto. And again, I'm going to reaffirm this or like emphasize it. There was no cheating. Gedo didn't get involved, even though he was there. The rest of Just 5 Guys were around the corner. They didn't get involved. And so, you know what, after so many attempts at finishes and submissions, Sonata finally got the win and has finally won his first tournament after so many trials and tribulations. He is now going to face Okada at Sakura Genesis, and then Okada came out and it was a really funny promo. You should watch it. Like, they were going backwards and forwards, and then at the end Sonata was like, yeah, I won. Okada, you need to go out the other exit. So Sonata finally is at the place we want it to be. However, and I said this on social media, Sonata has faced Okada many times before. Yes, he's with a new faction, a new look, But my worry is that if he goes on to Sakura Genesis and loses, is he another Hiroki Goto? Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. For this payoff of the new image, moving to just 5 guys, the New Japan Cup win to actually come through, Sonata needs to beat Okada at Sakura Genesis. And whether that will happen, we'll just have to see. So yeah, that was an amazing end to an amazing tournament. Some of my MVPs, I didn't bring that up. Sonata, obviously. Mark Davis, absolutely phenomenal. Had some amazing matches, Yano and Ospreay, then came back because of Ospreay's injury and fought Evil, then fought Sonata. He is definitely my MVP. I know I love Aussie Open as like a team, but I could definitely see Mark being a future singles champion. Just not too soon because I need Aussie Open. Shh. But yeah, like I said, it was a bit of a long review this. I went through basically the main talking points because of the length of the tournament and how intense it was. I told you my favourite matches, my MVP, my predictions, I told you they went out the window, apart from Finlay making it to the final. So let me know your thoughts in the comments on social media at wrestling_chat. How good were your predictions? Which matches stood out to you the most? Who was your MVP of the tournament? And what do you think is going to happen going forward? We have Sakura Genesis coming up soon, and it seems like there is so many matches that we can expect. So yeah, it's going to be a really exciting few months for New Japan. A lot of new and fresh things coming up. So let's see how it goes. And hopefully, Gato don't mess with me again. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Remember, hit subscribe. Hit subscribe. I hopefully like you guys enjoy the videos I do and that you enjoy interacting with me. So yeah, click like, send a comment, hit share, press subscribe, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!